guys, I hope you're doing well. Hello Artie. Artemis has come to join the video apparently. Watch that tail around my camera. You might be wondering, Beck, why are you sitting on the floor? Why not just sit on the armchair that's behind you? And my answer to that is, I am lazy and I didn't want to set up my tripod. So I've kind of just set you up on some bits and bobs. And I'm sitting on the floor so I can do that. So this week's vlog is the start, the first video of 12. As you'll have seen from the title, it's because I decided, like many artists and creatives before me, to join the artist's way. I had seen this book title, or at least this journey, throughout different feeds. I've seen it pop up here and there. I don't know, I never really looked into it. I kind of just saw the name and let it pass. But then, full disclosure, I saw Tofu Goob talk about it. And then recently, Tiffany, or Apple Cheeks, talk about it as well. You know, they were talking about how much it's helped them. Because of that, and how much I've been in my head about my art recently, I thought it's probably high time that I looked into it. I have been, I wouldn't say burnt out, but then I guess I'm sort of a strain of burnt out. I'm like mildly burnt out. I'm not burnt out to the point where I just can't pick up a pencil, but I'm burnt out in the sense that I'm just hating everything that I'm creating. I've been trying to draw more portraits, fan art, things like that, and I'm not finishing anything, which I'm sure you've noticed. You know, considering I've not long opened a shop and I'm trying to start an art career, it's not good. And I know that it's down to me. There's no other reason for it. It is just me and it's my problem. I am comparing myself too much to other established artists. I'm setting myself to a standard that I think I should be at, instead of genuinely drawing from my passion and just creating art because it's fun. I'm trying to produce works that I think, sorry about that. I don't even know what that reminder was for. Oh, someone favorited my Etsy shop. Thank you. I'm just trying to make things that I think people will like, and then setting myself to a standard of what I think I need to be able to fit in with the art community. While I don't think it's wrong to want the best out of my work, I'm being unreasonable, and I know that. So easy to say that and say, well, I just need to be more realistic about my skill set. When the drawing is in front of you and you can't consistently produce what you want, it's really disheartening. It doesn't cut it sometimes. Sometimes you just get really bummed because you think, or you expect yourself to be better. And I think that mentality has created a lot of blockages for me. You know, I have ideas that I'd like to execute, and then when I try and do them, they're not coming out well. So then when I think, okay, well, I'll just do something else, and then I don't get any other ideas because I'm guessing I'm just blocked by fear at that point, because I'm thinking, well, I couldn't do that thing, so how am I supposed to do anything else? I can feel myself getting into a bit of a mess with my art, and I'm tired of hating it and thinking that, oh, well, it's not real art if I don't make something seriously elaborate and full of detail. Like, no, I love drawing in the cutesy style. I have pretty much like two styles. I have the cutesy style that you will have seen on my Instagram, and then I have a more cartoony, little bit more realistic or defined style as well that I usually do fan art in. And I've been trying to do more of that style rather than just the cutesy stuff. And I'd like to say it's so I can show that I can do different styles, but I'd be lying. As much as that is true, it's also because I don't want people to think that I can just draw cutesy stuff and that's it. I'm worried that people will see that cutesy style and think that it's not real art. You see why I feel like I need to go on this journey and do this program, this course. I've got so many thoughts and fears and pre-notions. I think I need to do this and get back to my passion and just doing art for fun, rather than just thinking every piece has got to be perfect and I can only draw what people will like, otherwise what's the point? I need to draw for me again. So after that long-winded introduction, as I say, I've decided to do the artist's way. I've picked up the book, which is here. I have read through the introduction and the basic principles and the basic tools, which are basically the first 3 parts of the book. I've even like highlighted some bits that I thought were all like really stood out to me and I thought I'd want to come back to and things like that. This is essentially week 1. I have started this journey as of the 17th, which is basically when I got a hold of this book. And my weeks will essentially run Thursday to Thursday, which means I'll need to do my check-ins on Wednesday as per she tells you to do. The rest of this vlog is obviously going to be me conducting the tasks that she sets for you in each week. She will ask you to do an artist's date, and that's basically where your inner artist gets to choose what you do. So for example, if you've always wanted to go to the museum and draw some of the exhibits, that could be an artist date. Or if you've always wanted to sit in a cafe and just doodle, that could be an artist date. If you want to sit in a cafe and just people watch for an hour, that can be an artist date. There's no rules, it can be anything that you want. The only rules on artist dates are that you have to do it alone. It's you time, it's for you and no one else, and that you have to stick to it. You have to do at least one every week. No bringing partner, a friend, children. It's just you time, no one else. She also asks you to do morning pages every day. 3 pages of anything. Again, there's no rules on morning pages, just that you have to do 3. And I think that's at a minimum. I think you can go over. Like there's no, you get to 3 and then you cut off. I think you can write a little bit extra if you want. Obviously don't go mad, don't be writing 10 pages a day, that's too much. Every morning, as soon as you, I think it's supposed to be as soon as you get up, or at least as close to when you get up as possible, you're supposed to write 3 pages worth of just your consciousness, so just whatever's on your mind. If you don't know what to write, she says you can literally put down, I don't know what to write. You can write about your to-do list. If you're just thinking about all the tasks you've got for that day, you could literally write those down. You can talk about your inner thoughts. You can talk about what the course has been invoking in you. So if you're in like week 5 or something and the previous week was kind of hard, you can talk about that. There's no rules. I bought a notebook for my morning pages. Look how cute this one is. It's from Kenji. Isn't it adorable? And all the pages are lined. I put my Natasha's sticker in there. And it's got really nice pages. I've been doing my morning pages and that. I won't show you too much because obviously I want you to read them, but yeah. And I'll be using this notebook to do all my tasks in. So those are the 2 main tasks in the artist's way, and then every week you'll get additional tasks to do on top of that. For week 1, which is called Recovering a Sense of Safety, talks about core negative beliefs, and this is the section that I'm on. So for example, core negative beliefs are basically things that you've learned or continuously told yourself in regards to why you can't be creative. The examples that she gives are: everyone will hate me. Number 2, I will hurt my friends and family. 3, I will go crazy. 4, I will abandon my friends and family. 5, I can't spell. I think that's geared more towards writers, for example. 6, I don't have good enough ideas. 7, it will upset my mother or father. 8, I will have to be alone. 9, I will find out I'm gay if you consider yourself straight. 10, I will be stuck being straight if you consider yourself gay. 11, I will do bad work and not know it and look like a fool. 12, I will feel angry. 13, I will never have any real money. 14, I will get self-destructive and drink, drugs or sex myself to death. 15, I will get cancer, AIDS or a heart attack or the plague. 16, my lover will leave me. 17, I will die. 18, I will feel bad because I don't deserve to be successful. 19, I will have only one good piece of work in me. 20, it's too late. If I haven't become a fully functioning artist yet, I never will. I decided to highlight my fears that just from the ones that she outlined. In my morning pages book, in my notebook, I've also wrote some of my own negative beliefs. I'll share them with you, just to try and encourage you to maybe join in with this kind of thing. So the blurts that I've put down just from sort of my first instance of trying this is: you're too flaky to finish a comic. You'll never grow an audience online. You'll never be self-sustaining / full-time. You're not likable enough for content. Your story ideas are silly / cheesy. Your tastes are too childish. You lack any consistency. Your artwork is plain boring. The next thing she asks you to do is to think back where these fears came from, and if you're not sure, to work backwards in increments of 5 years. So I've basically made a list of ages 1 to 5, 6 to 11, 12 to 17, 18 to 23 and 24 to 28, which is what I am now. She asks you to list your most major influences at those times of your life so that you can try and pinpoint where these fears came from. That's basically the section that I'm at now. So the next task for me is to try and work out as best as I can where each fear comes from, and then move on to the next part of the task, which is affirmations.
Good morning. I've literally got up out of bed and come up here and set my camera up, and I'm going to do my morning pages.
So while I write those, I thought I would show you the affirmations that I chose. You can pause to read if you wish. Some of them were examples from the book. Others were ones that I chose. Some were even a mix of what I wanted and what the book kind of led me to, and I just kind of put my own spin on it. But these are the affirmations that I chose for the week and for going forward that I'll read to myself. I thought I'd share them for you guys so you could see. Yogurt. Mango. Okay, so I've had my breakfast, I've finished one load of washing, I've put the second load in. While that's washing, I'm going to go to the shops and get my snacks for my little artist date. So come along with me, let's go. So I'm filming this section of the vlog on my phone because I didn't want to lug my camera around the shop, so I'm just filming it on my phone. So if there's a difference in quality, you know why. So just to kind of explain the artist date so that it makes sense, I was watching some vlogs and for whatever reason I had this memory of when I was a child having what is now dubbed as floor picnics. I think my mum came up with it first. One time when we couldn't go outside, she put a blanket on the floor, we made some sandwiches and we got some snacks out the cupboard, and we just had the very first floor picnic. I then proceeded to have them by myself every now and then, so it's just a memory from my childhood that I had, and I thought, you know what, that would be a perfect first artist date. I can go get my colouring pencils, get my colouring books, and just have a good time like I used to as a kid. So that's exactly what I did. You may be thinking, Beck, you bought so many snacks for a solo picnic. They're not all for now. They're not all for the picnic. I needed to buy food for the cupboard anyway. So yeah, I just kind of bought things that would go away, but also I can have at the picnic. The funniest thing is, I have this thing where if I eat too much food, like if I have a really big meal, or if I have too much sugar, then I get really sleepy. So what does my ass do? Decide to have a solo picnic and buy lots of sweet things. I really am like my own destruction. I was going to set it out like I used to, like a proper picnic, but I didn't think there was any point. It's just me. And it's just more cleaning up for me, so things are still in packets.
No, I have to think that's what I just realised.
Hello. This is actually Bex from week 2, but I realised I didn't film my check-in for week 1. I wrote it down, but I didn't actually film it for you guys. So I'm filming it now and I'm slotting it at the end of this vlog, but from week 2. So week 1 was enlightening. I'd like to say. It was really interesting to see the start of this journey. I don't feel like I haven't had any kind of epiphany or anything yet, but I have had these moments where I've kind of noticed things, and I've picked up on my own habits, like self-sabotaging habits and destructive habits. And I'll get into the nitty-gritty in a moment, but just to kind of summarize, I already feel more inspired than I did. I was in a very negative headspace before I started this, as you will have heard from the start of the vlog, and I was being very critical of myself, and I was looking at the products that I've got on my Etsy shop, and I was thinking it was too much of one style, and that people aren't going to consider me a real artist. They're just going to think, oh, this is something that my 4-year-old could make, or they wouldn't take me seriously, and it was making me want to change and explore other styles, not because I wanted to try them and experience them, but because that's how I thought I should be, which is completely the wrong approach, and I do realise that now. And I'm trying to give myself permission to just draw what makes me happy and just draw in whatever style is fun. I have never enjoyed realistic styles. I love to look at them, but I've never enjoyed drawing them. I've never enjoyed styles that require precision and strong, almost mathematic equations to produce, something that you could create with a protractor or a compass. I've never been that type of artist, and I don't find that fun. I'm the type of artist that enjoys round, soft shapes and free-flowing lines and plenty of colour. So realistic art is not my bag, and I will always do unrealistic stylized cartoon art because it's fun for me. And I'm trying to appreciate that it doesn't really matter so much what my art style is at any one time, because if I'm having fun drawing that thing, that will come out in my art. People will be able to tell that I had a good time creating a piece, and if I'm just creating work that I think that I have to because I think that that's what people will want from me, it's not going to seem genuine. So I'm trying to forgive myself for having that mindset, understand why I had that mindset, but now tell myself that it's okay. I can draw cute art, I can draw soft things, and that's okay. I can create whatever I want, and the people who are like-minded and the people that would enjoy that content will find it. So I'm definitely feeling a little bit more confidence and freedom, which is nice, and I am going to explore that. But to kind of go over everything that I did, so I did morning pages every single day, which for somebody who is inconsistent and struggles with journaling, that's pretty good. But yeah, I did 7 out of 7 on my morning pages, so I'm quite proud of myself for that. Again, I don't feel like I'm necessarily feeling the benefit of morning pages just yet, but I think as time goes on I will notice the difference, perhaps in my head, in myself, and I'll be able to tell. But for now it's still early days and I'm not quite there yet. I definitely feel like they're useful. They're definitely helping in some way, but I just don't know the impact entirely yet. During the actual writing process, it did help me think about things more in depth. My artist date was fun, as you'll have seen. I had a little floor picnic like I used to do when I was a child, with some changes here and there. It's not entirely how it used to be, but it was funny to do something that I used to enjoy as a kid. As an adult, I guess it was a little bit healing for my inner child to purposefully do that alone. Whereas before, if I had a floor picnic by myself, as a kid, I would have been sad, I would have felt lonely. Now doing it as an adult with the goal to just enjoy my alone time and to work towards a recovery, a creative recovery, it gave it a different vibe. It was fun. It was nice to just sit and colour for an hour and not think about the end result and just pick colours that were fun rather than what I thought had to make sense. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I actually look forward to this week's artist date, or week 2's artist date I should say. I've already chosen what it's going to be. I won't spoil it, I'll let you see it in the vlog, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll admit that it was hard at first to shut my mind off. When I first sat down and I was picking colours out, whatever looked interesting and fun, and I was putting them down on the picture, I did hear the voice in my head come back and say, like, should you really be doing this? Like, isn't there about 10 other things that you could be doing with your time that is actually more productive and more worthwhile? Isn't this kind of just a waste of time? Like, shouldn't we really be working on something else? Being self-aware now, it was strange. It was almost like not like an out-of-body experience, but something along those lines of, whereas before I would perhaps have listened to that voice and thought it was me and how I think, I realised that it wasn't me, it was my fear. That was kind of, if I had any epiphanies that week, it was that. It was that I realised that voice wasn't me, it was my sensor, it was my fear trying to talk to me. That's a crazy feeling when you kind of separate the two rather than blending them together as just yourself. And it was hard to ignore that voice because I'm so used to listening to it. It was hard at first to ignore it and shut that off and not feel guilt for what I was doing. But I did. And I got through it and I actually had a good time. So yeah, I do think it's working, what I'm doing so far. I do think I am on a path to creative confidence, let's say. The downside to this week, so those were the positives, but the downside to this week is a lot of the tasks for this week were time travel tasks. So it's looking back at our memories, and that actually made me, those kinds of tasks where you had to think back actually made me really sad. Not in a way of because I was healing, but more because it actually made me realise how many suppressed memories I have. I really struggled with those tasks just to do them. Not like that they made me emotional, but that I just physically couldn't answer. A lot of my core negative beliefs I don't know where they came from. I genuinely can't remember. I've had them and held on to them for so long that I can't remember where they were from. And when I think back, there's a lot of gaps in my memory. And that's made me really sad because it's made me realise that I must have been, well, I knew a lot of my childhood was not the happiest, but also now that I'm seeing the effect of that, and that I'm a little bit lost because I don't know how to open them up again. I don't know how to get those memories back. I'm trying not to be too hard on myself about it, and I'm trying to just work with what I can do, because it's better to do something than nothing. And I'm hoping that perhaps as I go further into the artist's way and keep going with this journey, that perhaps things will start to open up as I start to recover. Yeah, that's probably the negative side of this week. Just not being able to do some of the tasks and realising the reason why. Before I make this far too long, that's my check-in for week 1. I hope that you enjoyed watching the first entry into my Artist Way journey. I hope you'll stick around for the second week. If you've decided to join the Artist Way yourself and you're also on this kind of journey, let me know how it's going for you. Let me know what week you're at, what stage you're at. Talk to me in the comments, I'd love to know. And if you're contemplating joining the journey, let me know about that too. But in the meantime, I wish you a wonderful week. I will see you soon. I love you. Please take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.